Hey, Golden State Warriors fans. Today we're diving deep into everything happening with the team right now, from potential trades to the on-court drama that's been making headlines. We've got a lot to cover, so strap in because this is going to be a wild ride through the latest Warriors news. First off, let's talk about one of the biggest names circulating in trade talks lately. Michael Porter Jr., there have been persistent rumors about the Warriors making a serious move to bring him into the Bay Area. And if you've been following the league, you know just how impactful a player like him could be for this roster. Michael Porter Jr. is having an incredible season, stepping up in ways that few expected after his move to Brooklyn. He's no longer the third option he once was in Denver. He's taken the opportunity and completely transformed into a go-to scorer who can dominate in multiple facets of the game. We're talking about a player who can stretch the floor, hit those high-arcing threes, cut off the ball, and create opportunities for himself when the defense isn't paying attention. He's shown the ability to score from every level, handle the ball when necessary, and contribute to a team's spacing in ways that the Warriors desperately need right now. His fit in Golden State's motion-heavy system seems almost tailor-made. Off-ball movement, pick-and-pop situations, and the constant cutting that the Warriors rely on would allow him to thrive while complementing Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. If the team can pull this off, it would significantly bolster their offensive firepower and give them an extra edge in critical playoff moments. But before we dig too far into trade scenarios, we have to address the elephant in the room, Draymond Green. The past few weeks have been, honestly, tough to watch. Draymond's recent performances and antics have reached a point where they're difficult to ignore. Take the recent game against the Utah Jazz, for example. While the Warriors managed to secure a win, it wasn't because of Draymond's contributions. In fact, he was ejected in the middle of the game. And if we look back at the last several weeks, this kind of behavior has become all too common. On December 20th, he was thrown out against the Phoenix Suns, and in the very next game, he left the Orlando Magic matchup in the middle of play. Coach Steve Kerr had no choice but to send him to the locker room, and even when he returned, he did not see any further minutes. Yet, the team managed to win both of those games without him. This is where things get complicated because Draymond's presence on the floor has become, frankly, a liability. When Steph Curry is sidelined with an ankle injury and the team tries to operate without him, Draymond's minutes often don't help the team maintain cohesion. His plus-minus numbers have been negative in nearly every game since December, with the exception of just a couple of matches. Against the Jazz, for instance, he was -5, and yet the Warriors still rallied after his ejection, ending up with a +19 differential when he was off the floor. The statistical impact is glaring. When Draymond is paired with Curry on the floor, the Warriors' offensive rating and defensive efficiency drop to levels that are historically concerning. Conversely, when he is off the floor and the reserves step in alongside Curry or even Jimmy Butler, the team's performance skyrockets. It's like a bizarre reversal of expectations. Games are going better without one of the league's most celebrated defensive players. And it's not just about stats, it's visible in real time. The flow of the game, the energy of the team, and even how opponents react on both ends suggest that Draymond's presence is actively holding the team back. The dilemma for Golden State is clear. There isn't an easy solution. Trading Draymond Green is complicated because of his contract and the lack of teams willing to absorb his salary or accept his style of play at this stage in his career. Yet, his influence or interference on the court has become unavoidable. The Warriors are in a position where they need him on the floor for extended stretches due to roster construction, and yet his presence can counterintuitively undermine team performance. While some teammates, like Jimmy Butler, have publicly defended Draymond, insisting that the team still needs him on the court, the data tells a more concerning story. Offense struggles, defensive rotations break down, and cohesion evaporates when he's actively involved in high-pressure moments. It's a challenge the Warriors have to confront head-on because there simply isn't a substitute who can replicate his versatility and leadership qualities entirely, despite the cost to efficiency. Returning to trade discussions, Michael Porter Jr. represents a tangible way for the Warriors to reinforce their roster while potentially balancing the challenges they face with Draymond. Acquiring a player of his caliber wouldn't come cheap, though. Golden State would likely have to part with several rotation players, including Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and Moses Moody, along with at least one first-round pick. While that may sound like a significant investment, the upside of adding a high-level scorer who complements Curry and Thompson in motion-heavy schemes cannot be understated. Porter brings length, scoring ability from multiple levels, and the capability to create for himself or others. In other words, he brings precisely what the Warriors are lacking when it comes to offensive diversity and floor spacing. The mechanics of such a trade might require multiple teams to facilitate the exchange, especially considering Brooklyn's limited interest in certain assets. There's even talk of involving teams like Sacramento to help balance salaries and secure additional picks. Despite these logistical hurdles, the potential reward is massive, a roster that could challenge any opponent in the league with a more dynamic, lethal offensive combination. Meanwhile, the competition for Porter isn't negligible. Teams like the Chicago Bulls have also been mentioned as potential suitors, and with their assets and draft capital, they could make a compelling offer. This means that if Golden State is serious about acquiring him, they will need to act decisively and structure a deal that appeals to multiple parties, balancing salaries, picks, and rotational players. The reality is that Porter may be the most valuable asset being shopped around this trade season, and the Warriors are in a position where they could make a transformational move if they're willing to part with the right combination of talent and draft capital. All this creates a fascinating tension for Golden State. On one hand, you have the clear on-court issues with Draymond Green and the challenge of keeping him productive without harming team efficiency. On the other hand, you have a clear opportunity to add a dynamic scorer like Michael Porter Jr., who could drastically elevate the team's ceiling and give them a genuine edge in the playoff picture. Balancing these two realities is going to require careful strategizing, a willingness to make bold moves, and a lot of trust in the front office's vision. It's a scenario that promises drama, excitement, and potentially major shifts in the balance of power within the Western Conference. And that's exactly why fans need to pay attention to these developments, because what happens with Draymond and Porter could define not just the rest of this season, but the trajectory of the Warriors for the next several years. It's a mix of personalities, contracts, talent evaluation, and strategic decision-making that will play out both on and off the court. Whether it's watching how Draymond's behavior continues to affect the team or analyzing how Porter might integrate into Golden State's motion-heavy style, there's a lot to unpack. The discussions happening behind the scenes in boardrooms, on trade calls, and in strategy meetings are likely as intense as anything fans see on the court during a critical fourth-quarter stretch. Now that we've laid out the challenges surrounding Draymond Green and the potential opportunity with Michael Porter Jr., let's dive deeper into what a trade for Porter could actually look like and what it would mean for the Golden State Warriors' future. Acquiring a player of Porter's caliber isn't just about adding points to the scoreboard. It's about transforming how this team operates on offense, how spacing opens up for Curry and Thompson, and how the Warriors can maintain elite pace without losing defensive integrity. Porter is unique in that he can contribute in multiple ways. He's not just a scorer, though that alone is game-changing. He can move without the ball, read defenses, and make the right cuts at the right time, which perfectly aligns with Golden State's system. This kind of skill set allows Curry to operate off the ball more often, creating a dual-threat scenario where defenses can never fully anticipate where the danger is coming from. You pair him with Thompson's off-ball shooting and Curry's playmaking, and suddenly the Warriors have a multi-dimensional offense that can stretch any opponent thin across the floor. The synergy is almost immediate on paper. But let's talk logistics, because this is where the discussion gets real. Michael Porter Jr.'s contract is substantial. He's making $38 million this season and $41 million next year. And when you combine that with Curry and Thompson already on hefty deals, plus Jimmy Butler's impact, if he's part of the rotation, the financial landscape becomes tricky. Golden State would need to clear salaries to make room for Porter without crippling the rest of the roster. That's why names like Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and Moses Moody come up in trade talks. Each of them represents a piece of salary and potential talent that the Warriors could use to balance the deal. Moses Moody has struggled recently, and while Kuminga shows flashes of brilliance, he's still developing. Hield is a reliable shooter, but not essential to the core motion-heavy system. Packaging these players, along with at least one first-round pick, could make a deal appealing to Brooklyn or any other team facilitating the trade. It might even require 3 or 4 teams to complete a transaction that works for everyone involved, especially if certain teams are hesitant to take on specific salaries or player roles. Complex, yes, but potentially worth it for a player who can change the trajectory of the team. Then there's the competitive landscape to consider. Golden State isn't the only team eyeing Porter. Reports indicate the Chicago Bulls are also in the mix, which adds another layer of urgency for the Warriors to make their move. The Bulls have assets, draft capital, and flexibility that make them a legitimate threat in any trade negotiation. If Golden State wants Porter, they'll need to act decisively, not just with financial considerations, but with a convincing vision for how Porter fits alongside Curry, Thompson, and the rest of the roster. The timing of the trade is critical because the league is always shifting, and the longer the Warriors wait, the more options other teams have to sway Porter's path elsewhere. It's a delicate balancing act between player evaluation, salary management, and timing that will require precision from the front office. Integrating Porter into the current lineup would also have strategic implications. Draymond Green's role would inevitably need to be adjusted. While Draymond's defensive versatility is unmatched and his leadership on the floor has been historically significant, the current issues surrounding his consistency cannot be ignored. A Porter acquisition could allow Kerr to distribute minutes more effectively, mitigating some of the negative impacts when Draymond struggles to maintain focus or control the pace of the game. Offensively, the Warriors could stagger rotations to maximize Porter's impact while minimizing situations where Draymond's presence disrupts rhythm. Imagine Curry and Porter running the floor in high-tempo sets while Thompson spaces the perimeter. Suddenly, the Warriors aren't just relying on isolation plays or pick-and-roll sets. They're operating a fluid, motion-driven offense capable of overwhelming any defense. This kind of versatility could be exactly what Golden State needs to reclaim dominance in the Western Conference, especially against teams loaded with athletic wings and dynamic scoring threats. On the defensive end, Porter's length and agility add another layer. While he isn't a replacement for Draymond's defensive IQ, he does provide the ability to switch on multiple positions, contest shots, and disrupt passing lanes. This complements the Warriors' traditional defensive schemes, which rely heavily on rotations, help defense, and communication. By combining Porter's physical tools with the defensive experience of Thompson and the floor awareness of Curry, Golden State could potentially offset some of the deficiencies caused by Draymond's occasional lapses. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a strategic enhancement that allows the team to maintain balance while adding significant firepower. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In what could be one of the most shocking moves in recent NBA history, whispers around the league are growing louder. Stephen Curry, the face of the Golden State Warriors for over a decade, might be preparing to leave the franchise. The Warriors organization has confirmed a development that insiders are calling devastating for fans, sending ripples of uncertainty throughout the NBA community. While official statements remain carefully worded, sources close to the team suggest that Curry's future with Golden State is no longer guaranteed. Curry's tenure with the Warriors has been nothing short of legendary. From redefining the game with his unmatched shooting to leading the team to multiple championships, he has become synonymous with a modern Golden State era. The possibility of him departing now, after years of loyalty and dominance, has left analysts and fans speculating about what could possibly drive such a monumental decision. Contract negotiations, front office dynamics, and the player's own ambitions all enter the swirling mix of speculation. The ripple effect of Curry leaving would be profound. Golden State has built an identity around his unique skill set, with roster construction, coaching strategies, and even fan expectations centered on his leadership and shooting prowess. If he were to exit, it would force a major recalibration not only for the Warriors but for the broader Western Conference landscape. Rumors suggest several franchises may already be positioning themselves to make a bold push for one of the greatest shooters in basketball history, should he hit the market. Meanwhile, social media has exploded with fan reactions, some expressing disbelief, others resignation, and many crafting elaborate theories about potential destinations. From reunions with former teammates to joining powerhouse contenders in search of another title, the speculation is running wild. Analysts are also debating the timing. Whether this move could signal a shift in Curry's priorities toward a fresh challenge, or if it's a calculated decision designed to maximize his legacy before retirement. Despite the chaos of rumor, one thing is clear. If Stephen Curry does leave the Warriors, it would mark the end of an era and the beginning of an entirely new chapter in the NBA. Teams, fans, and commentators alike are bracing for what could be the most dramatic shakeup in professional basketball in years. Until official confirmation details emerge, speculation will continue to dominate headlines, with the basketball world holding its collective breath. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.